Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Honorable Amos Makamba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to seek a statement. Mr. Speaker, in line with the parliamentary best practices, precedents and conventions, and pursuant to the provisions of the Taveta County Assembly Standing Order number 61, relating to sitting order number 7, questions and statement, a member of the House can seek a statement requiring availability of information, clarification, or appearance on any substantive issue, circumstances, situations, and matters pertaining to the attention of the county government, the national government, or the public, or any public entity where such mandate related to the management of the service and the leadership to the citizens and to the institutions as per the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and our current laws are concerned. In line with the foregoing oversight role of the County Assembly, I hereby seek a formal statement regarding the status of all boreholes in Kasigao, which include Kitege, Stokulongomo, Zungukani, Borehole, Jora, Ngambeni, and Kisimeni and Birikani borehole. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like the chairperson of Committee on Water and Irrigation Services to furnish this House with the following information within 7 days. What is the status of all aforementioned 6 boreholes in Kasigao Ward? For the boreholes that are not operational, what are the challenges and what measures has the department taken to ensure they are operational? 3, can the department provide the original scope of work and the bill of quantities of Kitege, Ngambeni, and the Kisimeni borehole? 4, what are the alternative power solutions apart from the electricity and generators for these boreholes? 5, who are the contractors for all these 6 borehole projects, and were they paid for the works done? 6, copy of resolution minutes and attendance of the decision made to hand over Birikani borehole to Tavevo. 7, does the department have plans for flushing and general maintenance of these boreholes? 8, and final one, does the department have plans for installation of purification plant for Zungulkani borehole, noting that it is the only water source that in that geographical area which the residents depend on? Those are the questions, Mr. Speaker. I wanted to put an emphasis on question number, one of them is number 8, as far as Zungulkani borehole is concerned, Mr. Speaker. For those who have never had a chance to visit Zungulkani, and you are in this county, Mr. Speaker, Zungulkani is on the far end, very separated. It's about 40 kilometers away from the main road, that is on your way to Makina. And there's no connection of any water line, Zungulkani. It's about 40 kilometers away from the other Kasigao side, that is the hillside and Bawata. So it's a very separate and isolated area. We have no any other water source that is connected to Zungulkani, Mr. Speaker. They only have a borehole. And this borehole is very salty. So they have no any other fresh water. They only depend on the borehole and the water pans. That captures rainwater harvest, Mr. Speaker. And you know the kind of contaminations that face the water pans, looking at the fact that some of this water run through are very polluted areas, Mr. Speaker. So as I speak here as the member of the County Assembly representing the Zungulkani people, I really feel the pain of the people of Zungulkani because they don't have any clean water source. They are forced sometimes to take the pan water, so some of them are forced to use even the salt water. And the department has never had any plan, Mr. Speaker, to put a purifier or a reverse osmosis plant. I've always been surprised that each time, Mr. Speaker, we have set aside funds for development here. I've never seen such funds of development being directed to such an activity. Each time I talk to the department, they take it back to the word that as the MCA kindly use the word fund to set a budget for development. And sometimes, our budget is limited. So a plant that requires 8 to 10 million, they expect it to be only achieved by a word development fund of 15 million, which has other needs, again, Mr. Speaker, to balance. And these departments, all the time they come here, they defend their budget to be given development fund. So if they cannot consider producing an item or procuring an item for Zungulukani, Mr. Speaker, I am really interested to hear from this answer. Then where does their development funds go if they cannot consider an area like Zungulukani to just consider them to get a fresh water? Because all of the villages in this county, Mr. Speaker, at least they are close to a water system, either fresh water, but an area that is 50 or 60 kilometers away from the water line, and you expect them to vote for us as leaders. Each time we go there, Mr. Speaker, we face difficult questions. But luckily, most of these county officials don't visit there. Sometimes I find myself receiving all the bullets on behalf of the entire leadership of this county, Mr. Speaker. So I feel these answers, one of them touching on this area of Zungulukani. And largely all the boreholes. I mentioned here all the boreholes, most of them are unoperational. And I've not seen any effort from the department. We come from an area that, Mr. Speaker, we really depend on rain and the boreholes. So if this county is not doing anything about the boreholes, Mr. Speaker, it's unfortunate that those areas of the lowlands have faced these challenges, Mr. Speaker. And I've been asking myself if we don't get serious consideration on matters of water. That's why issues of water have been discussed here since yesterday. And they touch my area directly. And they come from areas that when we believe we get water, we can be able to do some irrigation. But we can end these names of the Manjala, because you find the Manjalas all come from the lower lands. I'm not mentioning that because there's a Manjala inside here. But when you hear Manjalas, Mr. Speaker, it's just because of the lowland, the challenges of the droughts and the failures of crops. Those are how the names originated, Mr. Speaker. So I do believe with a solution, then we can be able to mitigate by having a lot of working boreholes, be able to even produce food for the irrigations for our people, Mr. Speaker. So these questions are very critical, because now we are in a season that we believe when we get water, then we can solve problems. Thank you.
Chair of Committee on Water and Irrigation Services, comment on the statement and give timelines.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. First of all, I would like to congratulate Honorable Makalo from Kasiga Ward. Let me say that he has raised very pertinent questions regarding the scarcity of water in his ward, particularly all those areas he has mentioned. They are really need of this community. Particularly, he has emphasized on Zungulukani, which is the area I know. So let me say that Honorable Makalo, we are going to ask the department so that they can now give us a very comprehensive report and way forward on how we are going maybe to work together with them so that we will alleviate this water problem in those areas. Otherwise, I take this to congratulate you and say that if 7 days, you'll get a very comprehensive report on the same. To add on the same, to emphasize on the same is that we're going to task the department so that particularly Zungulukani, and not forgetting that it's within our water service provider in the county, that is Tavevo. So we are going to task the department, even the water utility, so that if they can, we can have an alternative way of providing sufficient water, enough water to Zungulukani area, particularly the schools and the dispensary in that place. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yeah, I now give this opportunity to any member who would wish to comment on the statement. statement seeker, is the response sufficient on the timelines?
It's sufficient, Mr. Speaker. I trust he will keep the 7 days word. Thank you.
Next order.
Order number 8, motion, adoption and approval of the report of the County Public Accounts and Investments Committee on the review of the report of the Auditor General on Taita Taveta Receiver of Revenue for the year ended 30th June 2024.
Honorable Makalo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, I stand to move a motion on adoption and approval of the report of the County Public Accounts and Investment Committee on the review of the report of the Auditor General on Taita Taveta Receiver of Revenue for the year ended 30th June 2024. At this third county assembly adopts and approves the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment on the review of the report of the Auditor General on Taita Taveta Receiver of Revenue for the year ended 30th June 2024, laid on this table of this House on Wednesday, 25th March 2026 morning sitting number 015 and the recommendation thereof. I had given this report in the morning, so I will just pick an area that I can summarize this report, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, this report outlines the constitutional and statutory mandate of the Office of the Auditor General as provided under Article 229 of the Constitution of Kenya, the Public Finance Management Act 2012, and the Public Audit Act 2015, which required the County Assembly to examine and consider the report of the Auditor General of the Financial Receiver of Revenue, County Government of Taita Taveta for the year ended 30 June 2024. Article 224 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 further obligates the County Assembly within 3 months of receiving the audit report to debate and consider the report and take appropriate action in execution of this report. The County Assembly exercises oversight over county government entities and public investment pursuant to Article 185.3 of the Constitution of Kenya through the Public Accounts and Investment Committee, whose mandate is established under Standing Order 217. In undertaking its review, the committee adopted the comprehensive methodology that included examination of the audit financial statement, consideration of written submissions, and supplementary information provided by the accounting officer and the reference to applicable legal and regulatory frameworks governing public financial management. The committee held 2 sittings, during which it considered written management responses addressing audit queries raised by the Auditor General concerning the financial statement of Taita Taveta Receiver of Revenue for the year ended 30 June 2024. The Auditor General issued a qualified opinion indicating that, except for certain matters highlighted, the financial statement presented a true and a fair view. This report, therefore, presents the committee findings and recommendations outline proposed the corrective and improvement measures arising from the audited observation. The committee recommendations are intended for considerations and adoption by the House in order to enhance accountability, promote transparency, and improve overall guidance for service delivery. Report in the morning, so I will not go into details of the reports. I just wanted to have captured one of the issues that was among the queries was on budgetary and performance budgetary control and performance. The statement of comparison of budget and actual amount reflects to a revenue budget of 628 million against an actual realization of 463 million. From the 15 revenue sources is resulting to under realization of 164 million, or 26% of the budget received. The revenue budget amounts were not supported. The revenue amounts are not supported with detailed all sorts of budget amounts. The underrealization affected planned activities and may have impacted negatively on the service delivery. This is a matter all of us we know. We fall short on our revenue, and that's what brought part of the query, Mr. Speaker. I conclude, Mr. Speaker, I hereby request that this House adopts this report of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee on the consideration of the report of the on receiver of revenue from Government of Taveta for the year ended 30 June 2024. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I call Honorable Omar to second this motion. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, sir, rise to second the motion. Was the question that the County Assembly adopts and approves the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investments on the review of the report of the Auditor General on Taita Taveta County Receiver of Revenue for the year ended 30th June 2024, laid on the table of this House on Wednesday 25th March 2026, morning sitting number 15, and the recommendations thereof. Honorable members, the floor is open for debate. Mover to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to reply.
Members, I now put the question that Third County Assembly adopts and approves the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investments on the review of the report of the Auditor General of Taita Taveta County, Receiver of Revenue, the year ended 30th June 2024, laid on the table of this House on Wednesday, 25th March 2026, morning sitting number 015, and its recommendations thereof. As many as of that opinion say aye, will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, once again, I rise to move a motion on adoption and approval of the report of the County Public Accounts and Investment Committee on the review of the report of the Auditor General of the Taveta County Revenue Fund for the year ended 30 June 2024. That this Third County Assembly adopts and approves the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment on the review of a report of the Auditor General on Taita Taveta County Revenue Fund for the year ended 30 June 2020, laid on the table of this House on Wednesday, 25th March 2026, sitting number 315, and recommendation thereof. Again, Mr. Speaker, I will be brief on this because one of the reports that didn't have much, it was an issue of revenue. And one issue was already, Mr. Speaker, is the budget control and performance, which states that the statement of comparison of the budget and the actual amounts reflect receipts, budget, and actual on comparable basis of Kenyan shillings 7 billion, 7.5 billion, and 5.8 billion respectively, resulting in under receipts of 1.6 billion or 22% of the budget. Similarly, the fund transferred 5.8 billion against an approved budget of 7.5 billion, resulting in under realization of 1.6 billion, 4% of the budget. The fund spent 5.87 against an actual receipts of 5.6, resulting to under transfer of Kenyan shillings 1.6 billion or 22% of the budget. The under receipts and under transfer with the planned activities and may have impacted negatively on the service delivery to the public. Mr. Speaker, we went further to see why, and the management gave a response that the management had noted the audit observation, the resultant underfunding and receipt of 1.6 billion. The budget was occasioned by an unrealization of the exchequer issue, then of funded projects, and own source revenue of 403 million, 935 million, and 286 million respectively, Mr. Speaker. That is how they responded and the justification of why it fell short of 1.6 billion with some hundreds and thousands on top. Our observations was they had captured above that there was a significant under receipt of 22%, that is 1.6 to 1,643,835, and a transfer of 24% of Kenyan shilling 1.8 billion. So there's a lack of specific mitigation measures to address these recurring issues, particularly on the heavy reliance of the donor funding, on the shortfall and the consistent performance of its own source revenue. One of the issues that the chair budget brought forth today was the issues of the revenue sources, because we always fallen short of their own source revenue. It was queried because, as you know, when you budget and you don't realize it might catch the eye of the auditor, and that's why, Mr. Speaker, it was queried on that matter. So we recommended as follows. The committee notes the concern and the shortfall arising from the over-reliance of donor funding. Management is directed to develop and implement a clear and strategy to enhance own source revenue. It will include introduction of new revenue streams, review and authorization of fees, and structured public-private partnership. Further, the management must undertake feasibility study to identify alternative funding sources, including non-traditional grants, to mitigate funding risks. The committee further observes the existing revenue collection system are weak and prone to inefficiencies. Management must automate revenue collection through digital payments platforms and establish real-time monitoring and mechanism to curb leakages. Staff capacity in this financial forecasting and compliance must be strengthened through targeting training, and regular audits should be conducted to enforce accountability. Only failure to meet the revenue targets or adhere to financial controls will attract appropriate sanctions. So, Mr. Speaker, those are the issues we observed on this report of the receiver, this report on the receiver, the county revenue fund, Mr. Speaker. And unless we address some of the issues that we have captured here, this query will come again and again, because even if you look at how we budgeted this financial year, and versus what we are already receiving as our own source revenue, it will definitely tell you that we will have a shortfall. So this is something that will recur unless some stop gap measures are put in place, or we become real in our budgeting. Let's budget what we can realize. Let's not be too ambitious that we can realize 600 million on source revenue, and we end up realizing 200 and something million. So definitely the gap will affect service delivery, because this revenue is projected always attached to projects and programs of this county. So if we don't realize, let's also be sure that if these projects were undertaken, they definitely go to pending bills, or they will not be undertaken completely because there's no way we could raise that much of money. So, Mr. Speaker, this is an issue that the committees that are going to help us address these matters, including the implementation committee and the budget committee, should pick this matter up as we head to the next budget cycle, so that we become real. This is a query we can avoid if we decide to become real at some point. When we had an interaction with the Senate sometime, they told us if we really realize towards the closure of the last quarter of the financial year, let's do a supplementary to amend the revenue projections so that we can fit ourselves within the budget to avoid such kind of a query, Mr. Speaker. So with those remarks, allow me to call Honorable Mambi to second this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, it's time I rise to second the motion.
I propose the question that this third county assembly adopts and approves the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investments on the review of the report of the Auditor General on Taita Taveta County Revenue Fund for the year ended 30th June 2024, laid on the table of this House on Wednesday, 25th March 2026, morning sitting number 015, and its recommendations thereof. Honorable members, the floor is open for debate. Mheshimiwa Mohamed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the opportunity to contribute to this motion. This, though, is a motion out of a query from the Auditor General. Mr. Speaker, this is a conversation that needs to be encouraged more and more, and this needs to be encouraged with a view, especially as we are progressing towards another budget cycle, where by April we'll be expecting the budget drafts by end of April. Mr. Speaker, one of the recommendations, and I'm believing that as the same recommendation is forwarded to the executive, the budget draft that we shall receive will reflect the actual collections of revenue in the previous financial years, which we established was about an average of 300 million per year for the last 5 years. So in anticipation, the next budget draft should not reflect any amount more than 300 million as on-source revenue projection. Mr. Speaker, saying that does not mean this county is only capable of raising 300 million, but the capacity of the people discharging the responsibility of collecting, of realizing on-source in this county has proven beyond any reasonable doubt that it's not more than 300 million per annum. And this is factual. It is from data that we have received from the executive. So we do not have people, machinery, or ability to realize or raise more than 300 million, not because we are not more than 300 million worth as a county. So I just wanted to make a clarification. For that reason, until such a time, maybe this country will have that capacity, which the executive side of the county governance has not demonstrated the will, the desire, or the possibility of acquiring, then this House should restrict further over projection, so that we manage within ourselves and avoid such queries in the future. Mr. Speaker, sir, with those few remarks, I want to support this motion, but I want to add a rider. This motion has implementable recommendation. So in the next 60 days, as a House, we should anticipate an implementation report of these recommendations made therein. Because we are passing several motions. The issue of on-source revenue is an issue that has been skirting around this House. And now let us pick a new mode of approaching it as a House. Mr. Speaker, perception which are leading to political fear. If we make as a House such decisions, the public sometimes tends to rise against members by misconception that members are against the governor. When we say budget should not be passed with over-projected on-source revenue, and mitigation to it may also include specifically having extra monies for civic education in the future. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, it's just some decisions that need to be made. I rise to support this motion and urge as a House we may direct that in future we may restrict ourselves to what we have only been able to realize, unless a proper demonstration from the executive happens to show that they have the ability to raise even a single cent more. Thank you.
Honorable members, I invite the motion mover to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to reply, and I agree and applaud the comments by the Honorable Chair Budget. Now the bill passes over to the implementation committee so that the issues here captured should be able to be, we should walk the talk, that is. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I reply.
Honorable members, I now put the question that this third county assembly adopts and approves the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investments on the review of the report of the Auditor General on Taita Taveta County Revenue Fund for the year ended 30th June 2024, laid on the table of this House on Wednesday, 25th March 2026, morning sitting number 15, and its recommendations thereof. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next motion.
Once again, I rise to move a motion on adoption and approval of the report of the County Public and Investment Committee on the review of the report of the Auditor General on the Taveta County Education Fund for the year ended 30 June 2024. That this third county assembly adopts and approves the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investments on the review of the report of the Auditor General on Taita Taveta County Education Fund for the year ended 30 June 2024, laid on the table of this House on Wednesday, 25th March 2026, morning sitting number 015, and its recommendation thereof. It's among the reports that we laid in the morning, Mr. Speaker. So I'll not again read the entire report. I'll just go to an issue that touched or catch the eye of the auditor, Mr. Speaker. And the issue was on unsupported scholarship disbursements. The statement of financial performance, note number 2 of the financial statements. I do believe these statements are available on the website. You can check against the notes captured there. Reflects the use of goods and services on Kenyan shillings 154,708,680. The amounts includes the Kenyan shillings 24,265,231 in respect of the scholarships to students in secondary schools. However, the payments were not supported by acknowledgement receipts from the respective institutions. In the circumstances, the accuracy and the completeness of the Kenyan shillings 24,012,431 in respect of scholarship to the students in secondary schools will not be confirmed. This is what the management responded to. They said the education fund is in receipt of the acknowledgement receipt from the various institutions where we have scholarship beneficiaries attached. Find the acknowledgement receipt as received from various institutions annex 1. So these receipts were provided later after a response we had requested for information. So Mr. Speaker, it was information which will have provided during the audit exercise, but they didn't. That is laxity from their end, Mr. Speaker. So the committee noted and observed the following as what the auditor had observed. The committee observed that the payments of 224,265 in respect to the scholarship to the students in secondary schools were not supported by acknowledgement receipt from the respective institutions. The fund administrator contravened Section 9(1)(e) of the Public Audit Act 2050, which states, without prejudice to the powers given under the Constitution and this Act, and for the purpose of carrying out these or duties effectively, the Auditor General or an officer authorized for the purpose of this shall have unrestricted access to all books, records, returns, reports, electronics, or otherwise, and the documents of the entities listed under Article 2294 of the Constitution. We recommended as committee that the committee recommends that the fund management should ensure that evidence is always available to the Auditor General as and at when they requested in accordance with the Section 9(1)(e) and the Public Act 2015. That was to make sure that they are not they are supposed to be proactive rather than waiting until this matter is captured. If they had provided, this query will have not been there. But due to their level of laxity, they didn't provide that information. They are providing it later when a rate has been queried. So, Mr. Speaker, that's one of the areas, one of the queries that was eye-catching, and I believe the recommendations we have captured there, it will not appear again as one of the matters in the immediate audited report, Mr. Speaker. So, with those remarks, allow me to call Honorable Anita to second this motion. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I stand to second.
Was the question that the County Assembly adopts and approves the report of the public accounts investments of the report of the Auditor General on Taita Taveta County Education Fund for the year ended 30th June 2024, laid on the table of this House on Wednesday, 25th March 2025, morning sitting number 15, and recommendations thereof. Honorable members, the floor is open for debate. Honorable members, I invite the motion mover to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Silence means concurrence. I stand to reply. Thank you.
Honorable members, I now put the question that this Third County Assembly adopts and approves the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investments on the review of the report of the Auditor General on Taita Taveta County Education Fund for the year ended 30th June 2024, laid on the table of this House Wednesday, 25th March 2026, morning sitting number 15, and recommendations thereof. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the quoted opinion say nay? Let's have it. Next motion.
No. Motion. Adoption and approval of the report of the County Public Accounts and Investment Committee on the review of the report of the Auditor General on the Taveta County Executive Operation for the year ended 3rd June. That this Third County Assembly adopts and approves the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment on the review of the report of the Auditor General on the Taveta County Executive Operation for the year ended 3rd June, laid on the table of this House on Wednesday, March 2025, March 2026, morning sitting 0 number 15, and recommendation thereof. In the last report, Mr. Speaker, I also not want to dwell so much on it, but the report that we had laid in the morning, and I'll just capture one of the issues. This is one of the main reports of the executive. I want to just capture one of the main issues that was captured, Mr. Speaker. The rest they can check through on the report that we had given, Mr. Speaker. One of the issues was also on the budgetary issues that we have captured here, because we have missed on our revenues, both from the donors, also revenue. It has always been queried also on this other side as a budgetary issue and performance, which has affected the service delivery, that including the issues of the pending bills, Mr. Speaker. Another issue that was queried was the transfer to other entities. We have other entities in this county that also depend on this main performance, this operation for transfer, including Avevo and the facilities, including the health facility that we have. So one of the issues was queried was transfer to other entities. The statement of receipts and payments and note number 6 of the financial statement reflects Kenyan shilling 779,457,454 as transfers the other government entities included in the transfers from the county executive of Kenyan shillings 428, 399, 809 Kenyan shillings nil to Tavevo and Tavevo Water and Sanitation Company Limited and Level 4 Hospital, while the respective institution financial statement reflects amounts of Kenyan shillings 2,373,103,336 and Kenyan shillings 79,696,527, resulting to unexplained variances of Kenyan shillings 55,286,563 and Kenyan shillings 79,696,527 respectively. In circumstances, the accuracy and the completeness of the transfer to the county government entities of Kenyan shillings 779,457 could not be confirmed. This is when the auditor decided to check on both entries as a counter entry. They checked from our side and then they checked on the other side of the entries that were receiving. There's a discrepancy, and that's why it was queried by the auditor general, because when you look at the amounts that were transferred to Tavevo were the 428 million. Tavevo acknowledged from their end in their financial statements, not actually on the receipts, but on the financials. In the financial statement were showing they received 373 million on the same financial year. That's why the difference of about 55 million was queried. What happened? That the exchequer, the government executive released 428, while Tavevo is acknowledging in their financial statement they received 373 million. So 55 million was questioned, which according to the management response for both the Tavevo and Level 4 Hospital, they responded as follows. I wish to report that the amount transferred to Tavevo Water and Sanitation Company Limited and Level 4 Sol is Kenyan shilling 373,103,336 and Kenyan shilling 79 million respectively. However, the amounts differed with that reported by Tavevo and the Tavevo and Sanitation Company Limited and Level 4 Hospital as follows. One, Tavevo Water and Sanitation Company Limited reported 151,793 instead of the disbursed amount of Kenyan shillings 373,103,336. The managing director of this entity acknowledged the receipts of Kenyan shillings 373,103,336 and see attached annex. A confirmation was presented to the committee that there was a receipt that was confirmed of that much money, that is 373 million, instead of the 151 again that was reported. Again, to the Moi Referral Hospital, actual amount was disbursed for Level 4 was 79,696,507, was closed as user fee in the Level 4 Hospital and not as transferred from the county executive. See attached supporting schedule, bank statement, and financial extract annex number 11. So we checked through that documents, Mr. Speaker. We saw that communication. It was a reporting issue that they reported 79 million as a user fee instead of them reporting it as a transfer from the executive. So an issue that we should have avoided all these matters, Mr. Speaker. So you can say there's some level of laxity again to the reporting team and the accountants that were concerned. These matters could have been rectified. They should have not waited until, and this was not small monies, Mr. Speaker. We're not talking about a few coins. This amounts to millions of money that someone can fail to record properly, Mr. Speaker, and they could see from their receipts and from their bank statement that the funds actually put in the account. So it was a reporting gap, and we recommended as follows. The committee notes significant disparities in the reported transfers to other government entities, with variances of Kenyan shilling 55 million, 296,500 for Tavevo Water and Sanitation Company Limited, and from county executive, Kenyan shilling 428, Tavevo of Kenyan shilling 373 million, and 79,696 for level 4 hospitals. County executive Kenya shillings 0 because it was 0 because they had not reported it completely as a transfer from the executive. The management submission of the confirmation letter. The management submission of the confirmation letter from Tavevo and managing and supporting document for level 4 hospitals clarifies the amounts but highlights initial misreporting and classification, e.g. hospital funds recorded as user fee. These variances and totaling to Kenya shilling 134,903,090 shillings indicate weaknesses in the financial reporting, reconciliation process, and inter-entity coordination, undermining the accuracy of the reported 779,457,444 in transfers. We recommend as follows. The committee recommends that the county executive strengthens its financial oversight and the reconciliation mechanism to ensure accurate and consistent reporting of transfers to other government entities. We also recommended the executive should implement mandatory periodic reconciliation with the recipient entities and maintain real-time records for all transfers. A detailed reconciliation report addressing the identified variances supported by a verified document must be submitted to the county assembly within 7 days after adoption of this report. Additionally, the county executive should capacity build its staff on proper transfer classification and reporting to prevent such disparities. This is among the queried issues. The report is detailed. The members can have a look at the detailed reports because it's also available at the website of the Auditor General, Mr. Speaker, for their interrogation. We made several recommendations in this report on all the queried issues, Mr. Speaker, including the prior issues that have always appeared, among them being the budgetary control issues, Mr. Speaker. I do believe the battle now passes over to the implementation committee that should pursue the execution of all the recommendations that this committee passed. And it's again our responsibility as a committee to follow up these matters. Some of them require 14 days, some of them require 7 days, and the larger report will be measured after the 60 days period, as the Honorable Chairperson Budget has mentioned, Mr. Speaker. So we are looking forward for implementation of these matters, because as you know, this committee pack is limited to the audited report from the Auditor General, Mr. Speaker. Apart from that, Mr. Speaker, we are reactive in nature. Most of the things are happening when already the damages might have been done. We are just putting some stop gap measures and making necessary recommendations for control and improvement in the near future. So the matter now passes over to the Committee of Implementation. We are looking forward to see changes in our next audited report. Among the matters that we have captured here, we will have a comparison session between the matters that were captured here and the matters that were again cited by the auditor, because we also need to be making some progress. We need to see this county making some progress, especially on the reporting part, because some mistakes that have been happening here on both the report, Mr. Speaker, matters could have been avoided. If the officers were capacity built well, if they were trained well on some matters, especially on the reporting matters and reconciliation, then we can be avoiding some of the queries. And maybe next time we'll have 2 less queries, Mr. Speaker. Make sure that at least at some point this county is in growing in terms of how we report our matters and being real in matters of the budget, Mr. Speaker. But largely, this is one of the reports that we found a lot of issues were cited by the auditor. And I do believe that on the recommendations we have put here, then we'll be able to make some necessary improvements and necessary changes, Mr. Speaker. With those remarks, I call Honorable Taraya to second this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I stand to second.
I propose the question that this third county assembly adopts and approves I propose that this third county assembly adopts and approves the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investments on the review of the report of the Auditor General on Taita Taveta County County Executive Operations for the year ended 30th June 2024, laid on the table of this House on Wednesday, 25th March 2026, morning sitting number 15, and its recommendations thereof. Honorable members, the floor is open for debate. Honorable members, I invite the motion mover to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Silence means concurrence. I beg to reply.
The honorable members, I now put the question that this Third County Assembly adopts and approves the report of the Committee on County Public Accounts and Investments on the review of the report of the Auditor General on Taita Taveta County Executive Operations for the year ended 30th June 2024, laid on the table of this House on Wednesday, 25th March 2026, morning sitting number 15, and its recommendations thereof. Will as many as of the author opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next motion.
Thank you very much. Once again, Mr. Speaker, there is another motion on conversion of terms for county government Taita Taveta contracted lower cadre employees, that is job group A, job group K, to permanent and pensionable terms. Mr. Speaker, however, that the county government has over the years employed staff on contract basis, which tends to deny the county government institutional continuity and tie the county public service to the election cycle. Further aware that, Mr. Speaker, the trend has highly politicized the county public service as compromising professionalism in service and contracted staff end up being partisan in the county politics in a bid to secure their job upon re-election of their leaders, thus compromising service delivery to a great extent. Noting that, Mr. Speaker, the recruitment of staff each time there is a change in the political offices occasion expenditure by the county government amidst the scarcity of the resources. Concerned that the contracted staff are equally not in a position to make long-term commitments for their personal growth and development owing to the nature that their employment terms and the uncertainty that hovers over their employment status. The Speaker, recognizing that the budgetary allocation for the conversion of the contractual terms to permanent and pensionable terms is largely not to be affected by the conversion of, and if so, the same will be to the advantage of the county government. Mr. Speaker, now therefore, this county assembly resolves that the county government converts the said employment contracts to permanent and pensionable terms starting the month of July 2026. If those scheduled to discharge before then shall have their contracts converted to permanent and pensionable terms before the contemplated discharge. Mr. Speaker, before I sit, I would comment on this motion that, Mr. Speaker, the trend in this county government that, since its inception, the first governor, now we have the third governor. So we have had the first assembly, the second assembly, now we have the third assembly. most of our workers who are our brothers and sisters have been paid on contractual basis. And this has really jeopardized so many issues in this county. We should be aware, the county, that the daughters and the sons we're employing are our own daughters and our own sons. So exposing them to such kind of harsh employment conditions is uncalled for, Mr. Speaker. One of the things that is happening in the county, Mr. Speaker, is that the dignity of these workers has really been jeopardized. These workers cannot make sensitive decisions because their contracts are not permanent. They can't even settle in a place, build a home, build a house, because they're always in anxiety that when a new political cycle comes and a new governor is elected, and I was not sleeping in bed with that governor, it means my work is at stake, my job is at stake. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, when you go to the financial institutions in this county today, getting a loan, a good loan, a reasonable loan, which can allow you to settle down and have a family, it requires a good duration of time. Mr. Speaker, 2 years, 3 years cannot allow you to get $1 million, especially considering job group A, job group K. These are public servants. They should remain permanent and pensionable so that when a new government comes, finds them there for the continuity of this county. Mr. Speaker, this is not a new thing. The assistant chief, the former, the chief, the DO, the DC, the PC, and the rest are on permanent basis. Every government which comes finds them there, seated in their offices, and therefore it is easy to transit from one government to another, and therefore allowing continuity. Even in this assembly of ours, Mr. Speaker, it's a leaf you can borrow. Most of our workers in the assembly the staff are on permanent and pensionable basis. When today Mzuga is not an MCA Mbololo, another MCA comes in, finds things are in order, and therefore there is continuity. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the education of the kids of this staff, you take a kid today to Mwachate Junior, and tomorrow the contract is over. This son or daughter's education is also put into jeopardy. And therefore, I don't see that you're serving justice as a county when you employ a tea girl, when you employ a clerk, when you employ an office messenger, or a record keeper on a contractual basis. These are jobs which requires people to be there such that when I want a file, you can easily get it when I'm new. And when we become both of us new, it's as if you're beginning every time. We can't have a forest if you keep on cutting trees and planting new ones. Mr. Speaker, I want to urge the members of this assembly to approve this motion for another reason, that service delivery, Mr. Speaker, is also in jeopardy. When a worker is not settled, he is not efficient. He will not be efficient. If a worker is working for loyalty, he will not be a professional. If a worker is tail wagging, bootlicking the boss, then definitely this worker is under siege. Therefore, it is not proper. One day, Mr. Speaker, if I give an example, one politician in Taita Taveta stood in a political rally and told one of the ECD teachers, I can see you there. I know you're employed in the school, that school, and I'm the one who employed you. But I saw your mother talking shit in a political rally. I'm waiting for your contract to end and I will deal with you. If the Speaker, such kind of utterances will not be there if the staff is protected by the law. Because for you to sack a permanent worker, it requires the law.
Mamzora,
Yes.
you said mother was shocked talking shit. What is shit?
The mother.
Use parliamentary language.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I withdraw the word shit and say that the mother will not speak the language which is in tandem with the language of the politician. In other words, Mr. Speaker, for lack of a better word, the mother was not supporting the particular politician, and the politician was mad, and therefore politics were brought into a very professional and serious situation. Mr. Speaker, there is no motivation in our case. As much as we talk about on-source revenue, the revenue collectors will easily be tempted to run away with the monies when they find that their contracts are almost coming to an end, because they feel like now I'm leaving. Anytime I can leave. If Wakuja is not there and comes another person, I'll be leaving. So the much I collect, the better for me. So we are putting these guys into a very tempting situation. I'm very sure any worker will be scared if he is given a show cause why letter, and he or she is a permanent employee. But when you tell me you're going to chase me away and I'm just 3 years old, I'm just going to be there for 3 years, then I can decide to steal the coffers and run away and wait for another governor and they come back. So, Mr. Speaker, I really feel that it's high time we give dignity to this particular low cadre workers. Finally, Mr. Speaker, we have been talking about, there was a statement here which was sorted in the morning, and I think in the afternoon, something was mentioned about it. That we're talking about wage bill. And sometimes people think when you employ somebody on permanent basis, you will spend more money. But Mr. Speaker, I tend to have a different opinion on the same. That, as I said in the morning, we are not putting this motion here to give it to the executive to implement it blatantly. The minister in charge of devolution has got a right to go and set out regulations on how to employ, who to employ on permanent and pensionable way. This one gives us a room to do what we are saying in the morning of staff rationalization, so that the bloated departments can either share the workers with other departments, or we do that regularization so that we know who is doing what. Go to the time, Mr. Speaker, it went to an extent whereby jobs were being given on yes or no collection of a piece of paper. People are employed. So the bloating itself is being brought about by not properly employing our workers on permanent and pensionable basis. So I urge this House and my colleagues here that we support this motion and we follow its implementation. And I really wish the chair implementation was here to hear this, so that we can see how best we can implement this motion, so that we do away with this story of wage bill and bloated stuff. To move the motion, Mr. Speaker.
Second.
I now ask Honorable Chamber to second the motion.
I propose the question that, aware that the county government has over the years employed staff on contract basis, which trend has denied the county government institutional continuity and tied the county public service to the election cycle. Unaware that the trend has highly politicized the county public service, thus compromising on professionalism in the service as contracted staff end up being partisan in the county public politics in a bid to secure their jobs upon re-election of their leaders, thus compromising service delivery to a great extent. Noting that the recruitment of staff each time there is a change in the political offices occasions expenditure by the county government amidst scarcity of resources. Concerned that the contracted staff are equally not in a position to make long-term commitments for their personal growth and development owing to the nature of their employment terms and the uncertainty that hovers over their employment status. Recognizing that the budgetary allocation for the conversion of contractual terms to permanent and pensionable terms is likely not to be affected by the conversion, that if so, the same will be to the advantage of the county government. Now therefore, this county assembly resolves that the county government converts the said employment contracts to permanent and pensionable terms starting in the month of July 26, save that those scheduled to discharge before then shall have their contract converted to the permanent and pensionable terms before the contemplated discharge. Honorable members, the floor is open for debate. Honorable Taraya.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I stand to support the motion tabled into this House moved by Honorable Mzuga. And I wish to thank Honorable Mzuga for having considered it important the staff that we are having who are at low job cadre from job group A to all the way to job group K to be considered, their terms be considered to be converted into permanent and pensionable. And Mr. Speaker, sir, this motion, and when Honorable Mzuga speaks issues of converting staff in permanent and pensionable, as well as the plight that strike these staffs when they know very well that their contracts are coming to an end, how much it affects their plans, Mr. Speaker, sir. It is so nostalgic that actually it reminds me when I was once a staff of the county government of Taita Taveta, and that my job was very, very important because the rationale as to why I was employed then as a contract service provider, actually it brings no sense in the manner that, Mr. Speaker, I was employed as a ward administrator, and until now as I speak, we still have ward administrators in the county government. And for a record of 15 years continuous, it means that the county government cannot work without the ward administrators. And this is a job cadre that actually coordinates all the departments of the county government from top to bottom. And it being a coordinator of the county government works from top to bottom, it means that it is actually a vital institution that carries the institutional memory from one job cadre to another. Again, Mr. Speaker, sir, I wonder why again we should employ staff such as ECDE teachers into contract, as if, Mr. Speaker, sir, we are saying in the next 5 years, because we have given this person a contract of 3 years or 5 years, it means we are telling this person after 5 years, we might not need your service. If we are saying that we might not need your service, then it means that maybe the population of Taita Taveta, all the women Taita Taveta and the husbands will stop siring children abruptly, so that now we can stop having children in ECDs. That's why we're giving contracts. But as long as we are giving children and we have not been given notices of even not siring children, it means there is continuity of our ECD centers and that when you employ somebody today, it means you will need this person forever until this person comes to retirement age. So these constitutional memories, Mr. Speaker, sir, are very, very important for us to transcend from one generation to another. And with that regard, I seriously believe that we need to convert all the necessary jobs when it comes to ECD teachers, when it comes to health professionals, because we still, so long as we are living in this world, we need our hospitals operational. So we will need these people in offices throughout. We need these ward administrators in our offices throughout. You can imagine, Mr. Speaker, sir, today you are hiring somebody who is going to clean our markets. Then we are saying this person is not going to serve you after 3 years. And that's why giving that person a contract. That implies that we are planning to close that market, or we are planning a negative economic growth such that we will not be having the markets in the next 3 years. So, Mr. Speaker, I seriously believe it has actually proven beyond doubt that we need these janitors, the people who clean our markets throughout until Jesus comes and take us all to the land of eternity. We will need the revenue collectors forever. We will need all and most of these job cadres throughout in our life. And with that regard, I seriously call upon the members in this honorable house to come together, stand with this motion from our honorable Deputy Majority Leader, Honorable Mzuga, and support this motion entirely and direct the county government and order the county government and bring sanity to the county government by employing all these cadres, converting all their job status into permanent and pensionable. And this journey has not started today, Mr. Speaker, sir. This journey started with communiques that happened during those times back in 2016 when I was still a ward administrator. There were communications there, and our honorable clerk, our able clerk here, Zura, was in the office of the administration and devolution. And I remember, and I know very well that she had been interacting with the letters that were coming all the way from the top notch of the national government, directing the county government to confirm all officers from job group R and below into permanent and pensionable. But lack of institutional memory. We had the second governor, Samboja, that was not implemented. We now have the third governor, Wakuja, that is still not implemented. Mr. Speaker, sir, not unless we are living on oblivion. But so long as we are actually in the real world, it is the opportune time for us to convert these job cadres into permanent and pensionable so that we can have institutional memory amongst ourselves and bring sanity into the operations of the programs and ambitions of this county government. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Honorable Mwambi.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Ningependa kumpongeza Mheshimiwa kutoka Mbololo na Mheshimiwa Mzuga kwa kuleta hoja hii bungeni. Kwa hivyo nami pia naunga mkono hoja hii. Kwanza kabisa nikisema ya kwamba itasaidia sana kaunti hii, itasaidia sana wale wafanyikazi ambao wako katika viwango hivyo vya kazi kutoa huduma ambayo ni nzuri kwa mwananchi wa Taita na Taveta. Nikitoa mfano, kwa mfano kama wale ambao wameandikwa katika kukusanya ushuru katika kaunti ya Taita na Taveta, unakuta wakati tunapoangalia mahesabu ya kusanyaji ushuru katika kaunti ya Taita Taveta, unakuta ya kwamba kuna kile kiwango ambacho tunaweka ya kwamba kila mwaka tunatakana tukusanye labda 600,000 ama 800,000 ama milioni 6 ama kitu kama hicho. Lakini sasa unakuta ya kwamba kwa sababu wameandikwa katika hali ambayo si ya permanent ama kabisa kukaa mpaka mtu afanye kazi mpaka afike miaka 60 ndio aende retire ama aende kupumzika, unakuta kwamba mtu huyu kwa sababu anajua kwamba ni muda mfupi tu nitakuwa natoka katika kazi hii, basi imechangia sana wizi wa fedha. Kwa hivyo unakuta kwamba hiyo imefanya kaunti hii imerudi nyuma kwa miaka hiyo yote tangu ugatuzi mpaka wakati huu. Kwa hivyo naunga mkono hoja hii wenzangu, na tunawauliza ya kwamba tuunge mkono hoja hii mkono, ili sasa kile kitengo cha uajiri na ile idara ambayo inayohusika, basi waende wafanye marekebisho katika kuhakikisha kwamba wafanyikazi ambao wameandikwa katika ngazi hizi za chini kuanzia A mpaka K, basi waandikwe permanent. Kwa hivyo yangu tu ni kusema kwamba imechangia sana huduma rudi nyuma kwa kaunti ya Taita Taveta, na pia hata kuchangia watu hawafanyi kazi kwa njia nzuri, na hasa hicho kitengo cha kusanyaji ushuru. Unakuta kwamba pesa nyingi inafujwa na wale wafanyikazi wakijua kwamba leo ama kesho hii kazi yangu itakuwa imefanya nini, imeisha. Na pia jambo lingine pia, hata mfanyikazi huyu hawezi kujipanga na chochote. Ni kweli kabisa, hata kwa mfano kama ni mtu kuwa na jamii, kumudu jamii vizuri na awe na jamii nzuri, ni vizuri afanye kazi katika ile miaka ambayo imewekwa na sheria yetu ya Kenya, miaka 60. Na nimeangalia mimi hasa nikiwa Mwambi, tangu tumeanza ugatuzi, yani hawa wafanyikazi wanachukuliwa kama ni wa kisiasa, wanaandikwa kisiasa. Na tukichanganya siasa na maendeleo ama kujenga Taita, utakuta kwamba haviendani. Ni vizuri kama ni mtu, mimi napendekeza kwamba ni vizuri mtu kama ni kuandikwa, aandikwe kulingana na sheria ya kuandika wafanyikazi katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Kama ni miaka 60, ni miaka 60. Najua kwamba hata wakiandikwa kabisa permanent and pensionable, kuna vile viwango ambao watapata pension na kuna vile vingine ambao watapata kiinua mgongo, hawatakuwa na pension. Kwa hivyo mimi tu naunga mkono ya kwamba wafanyikazi hawa waandikwe permanent. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Nasimama kuunga hoja tena hii mkono tena kwa dhati kabisa. Asante Bwana Spika.
Honorable members, I now invite the motion mover to reply.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I want to commend the members who have given their support with the reply.
Honorable members, I now put the question, aware that the county government has over the years employed staff on contract basis, which trend has denied the county government institutional continuity and tied the county public service to the election cycle. Unaware that the trend has highly politicized the county public service, thus compromising on professionalism in the service, as contracted staff end up being partisan in the county politics in a bid to secure their jobs upon re-election of their leaders, thus compromising service delivery to a great extent. Noting that the recruitment of staff each time there is a change in the political offices occasions expenditure by the county government amidst the scarcity of resources. Concerned that the contracted staff are equally not in a position to make long-term commitments for their personal growth and development, owing to the nature of their employment terms and the uncertainty that hovers over the employment status. Recognizing that the budget allocation for conversion of contractual terms to permanent and pensionable terms is largely not to be affected by the conversion, as if so, the same will be to the advantage of the county government. Now, therefore, this county assembly resolves that the county government converts the said employment contracts to permanent and pensionable terms starting the month of July 2026, save those scheduled to discharge before then shall have their contract converted to permanent and pensionable terms before the contemplated discharge. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, there being no other business, the House stands adjourned until Tuesday, 31st March 2026 at 9:30 a.m.